Hey guys, today we're going to talk about WWDC, and yes, I am in my school clothes. I just got up from school and I wanted to start shooting these videos because WWDC was on Monday, so now on Wednesday. This is as early as I can get it out for you guys, but I wanted to get them started. Sorry about the lighting as well. It looks okay on the camera, but it's not very light in this room, so if the picture quality suddenly goes downhill because it's too dark, then I'm sorry about that, but there's not much I can do. Again, I just want to get these videos out as quickly as possible. So today we're going to talk about the first of 3 announcements Apple made at WWDC 2011, and it was actually how they began the keynote. They've talked about it before, but they elaborated on it, and although they didn't really show any new features for macOS 10 line, which is what we're going to talk about, they did talk about some interesting things in relation to it that I think are going to be interesting to talk about. So we're gonna go through the new features they announced, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on. Feel free to chime in with your thoughts down below, of course, like I always want you to. So macOS 10 line introduces 250 plus new features to the OS 10 operating systems. They've previewed this before, but they did kind of a more extensive preview at WWDC on Monday because it's a developer focused conference. So just I've got my iPad here just to use as a frame of reference. So if we look, we've got things like, among the most popular features, we've got things like Launchpad, which is an iOS-esque feature where it lets you take what do you call it? Take apps that you've downloaded and put them in an iOS like grid of icons, and you can access all that through gestures. So the biggest new feature they showed, again among 250 plus, is new gestures. Because obviously all Mac laptops now have multi-glass trackpad, so they can all take full advantage of these new gestures. They also offer a magic trackpad for the desktop machines. So there's things like 3 fingers to page through items in Safari. You can even pinch zoom now in certain applications using the trackpad. So that should be cool. They've got swipe down, I believe, for mission control, and I'll talk about what mission control is again. So the mission control was one of the features they showed off before, but essentially what it is a way to get access to all the organisational tools that are in macOS 10 and unify them with one gesture and in one structured place to get to them. So it encompasses spaces, your current desktop and dashboard all in one screen, and it's all nice and compact. And you can create a space and delete spaces on the fly and actually drag whole applications into spaces on the fly. That's one thing that they didn't show before, so that should be really cool. So that's Launchpad, mission control, and again they will all be accessible with gestures and as separate applications if you're someone who has a desktop computer but doesn't have a magic trackpad. Again, I'm on the Apple website here, and another major feature that they didn't talk about before is Safari 5. Now, Safari 5's got a lot of cool stuff. It's got more HTML5 support, which me, as a budding web designer, that's something I'm really happy about. Kind of try and push the web forward a bit. So it's got lots of HTML5 support. In terms of new user features. It's got a feature called Reading List where you can add articles to the reader and read it later, kind of like an RSS reader, but right in the browser with kind of a bit more detail for that. A part of what Reader does is it takes the web page that the article's on. If the article's across multiple pages, it tries to intelligently put that in the same page, and it also strips most of the formatting, adds and styling from the page and changes the font so you can just focus on the content. I imagine this will be pretty annoying for some web designers who you've set up CSS styles, but then Reader just goes and overrides them. So that might be something they need to consider there. So we've covered multi-touch gestures, launchpad, and mission control. Get my cheat sheet up here. Some of the things they also talked about last time were autosave. So saving now and the need to save has essentially gone in macOS 10 because the operating system is going to keep track of versions as you work. I shouldn't imagine this will be compatible with all applications because it's in the view of the developers, but they showed it working with pages, and it'll essentially keep track of all your versions in a Time Machine as view. So it should be really cool for all the people that need to work, and in terms of exactly what version was when, and you can presumably go back to different versions, and it stores the delta of the version. So like, unlike with other document saving solutions, you haven't got several different copies of the document, so that should be kind of cool. I just wonder what developer support will be like for that though, so it'll be interesting to see. They also show a new photo booth where you get some kind of new effects. Should be cool to some people, but I don't see much mass use for that. We've also got a new mail. Now this is really cool. A lot of people were speculating about this. I can't show you any screenshots in this video, but I can't wait to feature this on the channel when it's when Line becomes available, because it's a great feature. It's got an iPad-esque mailing view. I wasn't planning to do this, but if I can go to my email now, you can see it's got the mail on the left and a pane with the mail on the left and the email on the right. That is being brought over to the Mac again with a whole bunch of new features to go with it. So I'm really excited for that. It's kind of evidence of this virtual circle Steve Jobs talked about months ago, where iOS takes ideas from the Mac and the Mac takes ideas from iOS. So I'm really looking to the new mail. It's got some new features, like it'll actually lets you do more advanced queries, so it'll actually look through the messages you've sent, put them in conversation views. So if you've got a load of messages from the same person, and you know when you reply to a mail, it indents it and puts a load of headers on and stuff, mail will supposedly intelligently get rid of all that, although the old view will be there if you want to look at it. Gesture support in that as well. You can just swipe to see all your mailboxes together. So that should be kind of cool. I think that's kind of covered all the major announcements. Then they made the Mac App Store will also be available to, well, not as a download, it'll be available, and we'll talk about the Mac App Store later because it's a very prevalent thing with Lion. So we've got the Mac App Store, and that will be fully integrated into the operating system. We've also got a new version of Photo Booth, which I can't imagine a lot of people will be that concerned about, but it's there if that's what you're into. If we go back, we've got some new accessibility features, new add-ons to VoiceOver. Let me get mine. We've got higher quality voices. These just some of the accessibility features. International voices. Again, there's over 300 new features. New iOS looked at address book. We've got something called AirDrop, which is quite a big thing, which I forgot to mention, so I'm glad I had those notes there. AirDrop is a thing basically set up a peer-to-peer network, Mac to Mac, for you to share files. Unfortunately, this is not available for PCs because this looks like a really good Dropbox-esque way to transfer files. It appears it sets up a temporary Wi-Fi network to transfer your files, and presumably all you have to do is be near. You don't even have to be connected to an existing Wi-Fi network. So that should be an interesting thing. No setup or configuration, no network required to go along with that. It's auto discovery, drag and drop, and you'll just get a pane in your Finder window to show where that is. We've got some enhancements to Apple Script, so developers should find that interesting. We've actually got full Cocoa support, which should be interesting. You couldn't do that previously with Honeycomb apps, so that should be interesting. We've got some enhancements to Automator. It's going to support auto-saving versions. It's got self-installing action services. It's also got RTF supporting text editors, so it can write in RTF support. It has full access to built-in features that are built into macOS 10 with the terminal. We've also got FaceTime coming as standard. I'm not sure if I covered that, but I have now. It used to be I don't need to pay for in the Mac App Store, but that was kind of ludicrous. So it's kind of like iLife. You get it when on a new Mac, but it's not available by default. We've got File Vault 2, which is the file disk encryption. It's got some high performance, apparently, sharing encryption, optimized initial encryption, so it wouldn't be take so long to do. We've got Instant Wipe, which is kind of a cool feature that security folks will enjoy. You can group things as folder in the Finder just by selecting them. You've got the option to keep both files, which I'm really excited about, because previously if you have two files of the same name on the Mac, it would interrupt what you're doing and ask if you wanted to do that, but no longer. It's just going to save a copy. We've got full screen apps, which I'm not sure if I mentioned that. They demoed this with iPhoto last year for Snow Leopard. Actually, you can have several full screen apps open and page through them. There's gestures for paging through all your open applications, so all this is really tying into gestures and making it new icon look similar to what you find on the iPad. iChat with Yahoo Messenger support. We've got some internet resource. So because of the way you get Lion, which is something we'll talk about, later, you don't get it on a disc, you actually get it from the Mac App Store, so there's no disc. So when you actually restore it, similar to some PC manufacturers, you actually restore it off the computer. You don't restore it off a disc. So there's that feature. And then we've also got Launchpad, which is something else I talked about, where you can access all your apps in an iOS-like feature. Of course, we've got the Mac App Store, Mail, like I talked about. Just making sure I covered everything for you. We've got low power wakes, so you can now actually use a network to wake a computer for standby, which you couldn't do before. I should also note, as part of the multi-touch gestures, we've got tap to zoom for the whole operating system, some enterprise support. Preview's got kind of new features. It supports full screen. Obviously, it supports auto-saving versions. You can make improved notes, and it will actually open your iWork and Office documents, so you can have a lighter way to look at them. You can open, search, and print them. So I'm really glad at that. If you just want a quick document, you won't have to load up the clunky Microsoft Office or somewhat clunky iWork. Got some new privacy features, some new additions to QuickTime Play, kind of allowing to merge clips and additions to stuff that I looked at. I'll leave a link in the description. It's apple.com/us/mac/os/what's-new/features.html. That's where you can go to get all the rundown on what we can expect. I was planning to cover all of this, but there just isn't time. I've got no idea how long this video is getting, but it's probably crazy long, so I'm going to stop now. Loads of enhancements to Safari, including the ones I talked about. Okay, let's talk about what, in my opinion, was the most the two most important announcements were the line, and that was that it will only be available in the Mac App Store. So it will, other than on a new computer, obviously it will no longer be available on CD. It will only be available as a download. It's going to be about 4 gigs apart, which is about the size of a standard DVD. On my connection, for example, and I should imagine on a lot of other people's connections across the world, that's going to take a substantial time to download. So it's fine to go diskless, but then what about if you need to reload, and that partition, that recovery partition that I was talking about, the line creates, is gone. You're gonna have to install Snow Leopard, install the Mac App Store, install Lion, and go from there. Another disadvantage is because this is essentially a program from the Mac App Store, it installs in place, so it keeps all your data. But I know some people, including me, like to have a fresh install when they get a new operating system, so you're obviously not going to have that opportunity because it installs in place. So I'm not sure how some people will react to that. I should probably stop talking now because this is getting to be a really long video, but anyway, that's basically the gist of Lion. I should also note that it's only going to be $29 $29.99 actually, some of the price of snow leopard, and I think that's justified because while there were some good new features that I'm really looking forward to, I think it was yet another evolutionary change, and I don't think it justifies a much higher price tag than that. I think there are more features than Snow Leopard, so they could probably have done it a bit higher, but not much. So, a couple of things. You are going to have an iTunes account to get this, obviously, and because it follows the rules of the Mac App Store, and this is kind of cool, you can use it on as many machines as you want. No need to buy more than one license to Snow Leopard. You can download it as many times as you want, and that's completely legal. Apple certainly made a big thing about that. Other than Linux, which most operating systems are free anyway, it's a pretty unique thing for them to be doing. So I think they certainly touted that, and that it's only $29. So I'm going to stop talking now. Once again, I want to hear what you think. Stay tuned for all the other WWDC coverage. My website's down there, and I'll see you in the next video. I better get out of here. Bye bye, guys.